Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, everyone. I'll start off with a little number here for you, and then we'll get into the class. We've got a few things that I'm going to do today, so we'll just see how the time is, and I might do more than a few things, depending on our time. So I'll start off with a little fun number here for you, so here we go. Just a good old classic. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, so I did a few things in that number that I'm actually going to talk about today. And hopefully that was I purposely chose a simple song for that reason. But there's a couple things I want to discuss today. And we're going to take we're going to kind of do a recap from last week and put it in practice differently and get you making an arrangement today, because I said last week everybody can be a professional arranger. So Sean, if you can pull up the material from last week, the second page.
Is that the one? You see it there, Robert?
That one right there.
Okay.
All right, so last week we talked about making a creative arrangement and with ease, and we talked about these things: the auto bass, the drums, and then the rest of the band, the style, the accompaniment. Now I'm going to leave that up, and if you happen to have that handy, it'd be great. But I'm going to leave it up for just a moment so you can write this stuff down, because I'm going to get your participation here. And what I'm going to do is I'll use the one that I did temporarily, and then we'll do a few other styles that we can create an arrangement. But last week what I did is I said that there's many ways to create an arrangement, and one of those was a nice slow buildup, and where we start off with something very basic and build it up to a full sound. Well, today we're going to talk about not getting so caught up in making an arrangement from a build-up or so. We're just going to talk about how, when you're playing, by the use of some of these buttons, you can create a entirely different arrangement. And then we're going to put you to work here by telling me which buttons to use. So I have up there auto bass 1 and 2. Some of you have that. There's a drum variation button. Some of you have that. You all have a drums. A lot of you have a style or a Accomp button. Let's see, on the Rialtos, the E series, it's there's a basic and an Orchestra Plus. On the Easy series, it has style, and the SD has a Accomp. All right, and then there's basic or Genie. Basic and Genie is the same function, depending on what model you have there. And then Orchestra Plus is the same function. Some of you have alter style. And the left-hand sound, what I'm going to do for that is I'm just going to eliminate it altogether, because to me, I want to talk a lot about just the band. Now, so that's up there now. Now, Sean, I don't know if you're in the screen share, if you can do it or not, but maybe you have to get out of it. What I want to do is actually just leave that there for, go ahead and take it off for a minute. I'm trying to get this microphone where, all right. So what I did is I want you to listen to this style for a minute. And when you saw me playing, you saw me reaching up and doing this stuff. It really takes, there is no expertise involved in this other than just taking the time to push it. And I pushed a lot of those buttons on the screen there that you saw a minute ago. So what I'm going to do is put the style that I had on. In this case, it was Razzmatazz, all right? And go ahead and put the screen share that we just had up there. Okay? Now, look at that screen there. I'm going to call it out what I did. Now, I may not do it in the exact order that I did it, because I was pushing them a lot because I wanted you to hear the changes. But see if you can catch the differences. What I'm going to do is turn off the lower. The last option there says lower or left hand. I'm going to turn it off completely, or you can use your volume. There's a tab called lower tabs on some of the models. If you have the volume switch, just turn the volume all the way down completely. So here's the style with the volume of the lower left hand, and it's going to be hard to hear. Now this is the left hand chord. Now I'm going to turn it off completely. So you can kind of hear that, what a lot of instructors refer to as that hum sound or that chord sound that's holding. So here's the rest of the band, however. Now, as I was playing, I may have even started off this way. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I turned off Orchestra Plus. Orchestra Plus on, listen. I turned it off. At some point, I might have hit drum variation. Sounded like this. Turn on auto bass 2. Turn on alter style. Auto bass 1 back on. Now they're very similar, but listen. One is the acoustic bass and the other is a tuba. Alter styles on, drum variation on. Turn off drum variation. Turn on Orchestra Plus. So you could hear, hopefully, you can turn it back onto the screen now. So hopefully you could hear the differences in the background or the accompaniment. Go ahead and take the screen share off there. All right. So I'm going to just go to my gallery view. Show of hands or nods. Did you hear some of the differences as I was going through those? Yes, I hear some nods, head shaking. Now, what I want to do is I want to pick a rhythm style. Okay, and I'm going to put a rhythm style. Oh, I will start off with something a little, well, I'll pick a Latin style. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 2 or 3 styles, depending on our time, and I want you to tell me which buttons should I change. And then while I'm playing the song, whatever song I decide to play with the style, I'm going to change those buttons, okay? So let's see if I can get the screen here, put me up here, spotlight me. You're spotlighted, Sean. All right, so can that be seen okay? Let's see what happens when I write. We're gonna have a little fun with this today. I said everyone can be a professional arranger. All right. Can you all see that? You want to turn off the light? There's a glare.
If you
Try
tilt
the
it
other
down
one.
a little bit, it should be okay.
How's that?
That's better.
Okay. What does it say?
Boy.
What does it say?
Boy.
Boy. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a boy.
All right. It's a boy.
That's your lesson for today.
Attaboy.
I tell you. All right. Okay, so Sean, pull up the screen
Yes, sir.
on that second page. And okay, now, I don't know how we're going to do this, but everybody see that there? I'm going to start off, I'm going to pick a style. And what typically happens is, let me just write this up here. Auto bass 1 is on. Usually Genie or Basic, whatever the pop model, and Orch Plus is on. And usually, if you're using just the style setup 0 or rhythm preset 0 on all of the models, they usually have, if you have a drum variation, there is no drum variation on. It's in the off position. Okay. And then the alter style is also off. Okay. So I'm going to write that on the board here. And that's kind of how, and then the lower just depends on the style, but I'm going to have that off. Okay. So folks, you have auto bass 1, auto bass 2, drum variation, and then there's a Genie Basic Orch Plus alter style. Okay. What I want you to do is to tell me which one of those buttons you would like me to press while I'm playing. So right now, the Genie and the Basic is on and the Orchestra Plus is on. So, and the alter style is off and the drum variation is off, and it typically defaults to auto bass 1 from what I noticed. So show of hands, raise your hand, use the raise hand feature, and just tell me which one of these buttons you want me to adjust or change. And I can't do this without, I can't go any further until somebody tells me to. So go ahead and, can you see everybody?
Wayne, you raised your hand. Go ahead.
Who?
Yeah, you want to add an auto harp, or excuse me, the golden harp?
Nope, not in this one. You have to press one of the buttons you see there.
Got to be Orch Plus.
Okay, so I'm going to write Orch Plus. Okay.
Drums.
All right, hold on. Orch Plus, drums.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, give me another button. Now keep in mind, you can say some of these words more than once, but keep in mind the person that said it last, but that's okay. It's all part of the exercise.
All part of the
exercise. All right, so I had Orch Plus. Someone said something about drums. What's the next
Yes.
button?
Probably.
Orch
Yeah.
Plus. Orch Plus.
Alter style.
Okay.
Genie.
Hold on.
Genie.
Okay. Alter style Genie.
Auto
I'm going to
bass.
say, before I go further, I'm going to say Genie or Basic, only because some of you have one or the other.
Okay.
Okay.
Lower.
Auto bass.
Lower. Auto bass. Okay.
There you go.
Anybody else want to? You can pick it. We did them all in a different order. Now here's the cool thing. You could actually pick another one of these. Again.
Drum variation.
Okay. I'm going to say the word drums, and I'll
already
explain
said
why I did that. Okay. All right. Now
How
let's
about
let's
easy?
look at my chart here for a second.
Turn off alter style.
How about
Okay.
easy?
Well, I'm going to write alter style at the very bottom here, and alter style. Okay. All right. So this right here, if you can see that with the glare, let me move my chart over. Let's see. I'm a glare professional. Here we go. Now, here's the cool thing is when we're done today, I'm going to type all this up and send it out with this week. So here's Auto Bass 1, Genie or Basic, Orch Plus, drum variation is off. This is the way that typically most styles, when you put on a rhythm style, this is typically what's happening in the band that's already set. And that's rhythm preset or style setup 0 or auto setup 0, depending on which model you have, okay? Now, I'm going to pick a rhythm style, and as I'm playing, okay, I'm going to press that button. So what's going to happen in this case, since this is on already, this is off, on, this is usually on, and that's what's usually selected. So what's going to happen is when I press Orch Plus, in this case, it'll just turn it off. When I trust drums, by the way, you could either turn off your drums or use this drum variation. So what I'm going to do when I get over to this part here is I'm going to press the drum variation button. So I'm going to put variation there, okay? Now, if you happen to set up a style and you put on a rhythm preset, for example, style setup or rhythm preset 4 in a lot of the models will actually have drum variation on. So if I did this method and went through this and I pressed that, then I'm turning it off. It doesn't matter if you're turning it on or off. What matters is that we're going to press these buttons as I'm playing. All right. Genie or Basic, someone said, so I'll turn that. And then there's the lower. Now I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do with the lower. I'll turn it on, but I'm going to turn it off in the beginning because I don't like it on a lot. But I'll just put it on. And what should happen is there'd be a subtle change. And then auto bass. I'm going to look up at the organ, whatever is on. If for some reason it's number 2, I'm just going to go to 1. If for some reason it's 1, I'm just going to push 2. That's the only thing I'm going to push differently. Then I'm going to push the drum variation, wherever it was, and then I'm going to push the alter style. Okay? So let me pick a style. Actually, I'm going to leave this up there so you can see. And let's put on, let's have a little fun with this one. If I could find it. There we go. More. I want to use one of my swing styles. Let's see here. There we go. All right. So I'm going to put on one of the big band swing styles in here. I was trying to find it. Here we go. Smooth Foxtrot. And let me slow it down for the song I want to play. All right. So here is a Smooth Foxtrot. And again, it doesn't matter which style you do. I've got it at 120. And then I'll start off with a simple introduction. And this is what you're going to hear first is the way it comes up first. Okay. And then as I'm playing, I'm going to push one of these buttons and I'll tell you when I'm doing it. And I want you to listen closely of how it changes. Sometimes the changes are subtle, sometimes they're drastic. So let's see what happens when we do this. And basically, if this goes well, you can say you made this arrangement. It was a collective. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think 7 different people. And if this works well, you guys can go on the road, take the show on the road and say, hey, I'm a professional arranger. Look what we did. And you guys didn't even know each other in some cases. Now, if it doesn't work right, well, then shame on you. No, just kidding. Here we go. So here's the initial setup. All right, so that's the way that style is playing right now. And I'm going to just play a little bit of a song. Okay, now I'm going to reach up and hit Orch Plus, but before I do, I want you to listen to the style. Orch Plus off. You notice the difference. Now I'm going to turn it back on before I do anything. Now here's that first one at the top, the Orch Plus, which is on. I'm going to turn it off. So now I'm going to touch the next one. It says drum variation. Happens to be off, so I'll just put it on. What's next? Alter style. Okay, let's see what happens. Here we go. Listen. Now, I can't see you on the screen because the camera's pointed to the thing, but I hope you can hear the difference. Okay, now it says Genie or Basic. Now, this is kind of interesting. Now, I'm going to ease the volume back. In the beginning, I said Genie and Basic is on and Orch Plus is on. So what happened is when I pushed Orch Plus, because that's what you told me to do, we turned it off in that case. When I come to Genie or Basic, we're basically turning it off. So what's going to happen now is all you're going to hear is the drummer and the bass. Now, this is what's cool, because what you guys did, which you didn't realize you did, is you turned it into a two-piece band. We have the drummer, the bass, and then, of course, the melody that I'm playing, so technically a three-piece. But now that we turn on the lower, because it was off originally, you're going to get this. In this case, that nice lower sound actually complements this setup. Auto bass 1 happens to be on, so you guys told me to push the other one, whatever one. So here we go. So it went from a walking bass to a 1 and a 5 bass, just kind of like a Foxtrot bass. And then you told me to put on drum variation. Okay, it was on already because we activated earlier. I'm going to turn it off and let's see what happens. And then you told me to push alter style. So in this case, I turned it on earlier. I'm going to turn it off. Wow, that actually was really cool. Let's mute some of you. Let's give yourself a round of applause. Here, I'm better. I don't know if you realize this, but you guys just came up with a really cool arrangement, because what happened was, and we'll do another rhythm style. And again, I couldn't type this up in advance because, well, I had to wait for you to tell me what to do. But this here, this is how this is. Let me refer to this again, and we'll try another style here. And then I have kind of a bonus little, it's kind of just a on. These are all the things that are on. Now, you may be asking yourself, Robert, you're doing it on the Liberty. What if I don't have a Liberty or a Symphony or a Rialto or some of these? Well, I happen to have a smaller model right here. In fact, I did a little event for a few people yesterday, and this was one of the instruments that I played on, and I had a fabulous time with it. Okay. And I'm going to show you, here's an example. This is called the Lowry Odyssey. Okay. And I'm going to pick a rhythm style. Now, I don't have smooth foxtrot, so I'm going to pick another swing style. And let's see here. I'm just going to use the classic swing band on this. And the swing band comes up with rhythm preset. It comes up with Genie, Orch Plus, the auto bass. Doesn't have an auto bass 1 or 2. So when I get to bass, what I'm going to do is not press it, because if I do, it's just going to turn off the bass. All right. If you do not have an auto bass 1 or 2, now you can turn it off, but you're going to find you're going to lose your what we call the bottom end. Okay. Now we're referring to our bottom end, but the bottom end, that bass tone of the style. So make a note, if you don't have an auto bass 1 and 2 option, don't turn that off. Now you can, just to see what it sounds like, but you'll probably feel like it lost all of its tone. All right. And then the same thing with the drums. I'm gonna bypass the drums, but I'm gonna press all these other buttons. I don't have an alter style button. So let's see what's gonna happen if I do this. Well, let's see what happens. Now, I'm gonna take and put on, I'm gonna turn off the harmony, and I'm gonna put on just a nice, I had a clarinet over there. You know what I'll do is I'll put on just a clarinet. So I'll do the exact same setup. So all I have is a clarinet. All right, and here's the swing band style, how it normally sounds. Okay. Is that volume okay? All right, so here's that style. Now, what tempo did I say I was doing it at? I know what it was. I'm just seeing if you paid attention to me. Let me go look over as well. 120, 117. Okay, so I got a tempo 117. All right, 120, 117. So the song that I'm playing, it's kind of an ideal tempo. So here we go. Same thing. Oh, wait, I forgot. I turned off the lower. I'm going to turn that off completely. Here we go. So that's how that sounds. Based on what I put on the right side, the general setup. Now, first one. See if I can do this and back up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow this order, as many of these options I have available. This is the way it's set up. This is how I'm going to follow it. Orch Plus off. Now listen. Now I don't have a drum variation button, but I think what I'll do is I'll just turn down the drums and see what happens. Oh, I got rid of them. Okay, we'll see what happens. I don't have an alter style, so I'll skip that. Now this is going to be awkward because I'm going to turn off the Genie and all you're going to be left with is a bass player. Actually, that's pretty cool. Makes you want to say, swing it, jazz, all right. Now lower, I'm going to add a lower sound. Now the auto bass I don't have, so I'm going to skip that. Drums, I turned it off. Let me bring it back on. I don't have an alter style, I'll skip it, and then we end it with. So as you can see, no matter what you do, if you're playing along and you activate one of these buttons and you go, maybe not, then you could turn it back on or you can continue through. Now, there is no rhyme or reason to this. You can take a sheet of paper and as many of these options you have, write on a paper a different order and try a song out. Now, on the Easy series, there's something pretty clever that some of you should know. All right. On the Easy 10, for example, there isn't a Genie or a basic or Orchestra Plus. It's all built into the style and the accompaniment. So one of the things I recommend is turning off the lower. And when you get to the point where you want to adjust Orchestra Plus or Genie or those terminology, what I do is I turn down that style or comp button or I turn it up. And that allows you to do what we're doing. The other cool thing is that on the, is it the Easy 10, Sean? Is there any other models too? Actually, a lot of models that have rhythm preset or style setup, when you put on style setup 1 and or 2, what happens is it has a built-in Orchestra Plus button that gets turned off. So here, for example, I'm going to put on Franken the Count as a big swing style. I'm going to bring it to 120. All right, 117. And here's the band as you hear it. So you can hear there's a lot going on in that. Now watch what happens when I push number 1. Now, let me just look at the gallery. Could you hear the difference? Here's with it on. Let me press number 1. And you'll notice that number 2 is very similar. So 1 and 2 on a lot of the models will automatically turn off that Orchestra Plus. On all of the models up here, listen. Here we go, number 1. See? And in fact, when you do that, it'll turn off the Orchestra Plus, sometimes turn on drum vari. It'll do some of that. But if you want to create your own arrangement, you can, now this could be endless, because if I had more room, we could say, okay, now that we press that there, how about we go a little further and press auto bass and we put the other Genie back on, and you can just continue and continue and continue and continue, and you have a whole different arrangement. Now let's do another one. I'm going to do a
Robert-
Latin style. Anybody have
Robert,
a
I have a question real quick. Do you have an
Sure.
example of when you can make these changes? Like how many measures you go before doing that? You know?
Yeah. So the answer to that question is whenever you feel like it. However, I actually, when I did it, I was playing a song. I kind of did it. I didn't have any specific spot. Now, a lot of times we'll play a part of a song. Like if you took the Easy Play music for Just a Closer Walk with You, do you have a copy of that by chance? Okay. So if you
Yeah,
look
I
at this song, you got Just a Closer Walk with You. Oh, wait. Can't read the words. Okay. So, there's certain parts of the song that sometimes instructors will say, there's phrasing or what have you, but, you can start off with a G, da, 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 da. What is the words there? I can't see it. It's tiny.
Is it small on the screen?
Yeah. I always thought I had the words backwards. Da, 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 da. You got your mouse there? Is that your
Where?
mouse or mine? Can you see my mouse?
No.
I am weak, but thou art strong.
Okay. And then Jesus keep me from all wrong. Okay, so here's if it was me playing the song and I wanted to make a lot of changes, I might get to that part right there on the second line, and then I might say, okay, I'll do one of those changes. And then I'll play it for another 8 measures and do a change. But there is really no right or wrong to it, although I wouldn't try to do it every other measure, because then you're going to spend more time changing buttons than you are playing the song. So I'll leave the song up there, and let me go through it without speaking as much, should I say. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to call out the button changes that you guys gave me as I do it. And we'll see what happens. No rhyme or reason. Here we go. We'll start off with the intro and the setup that comes with it, and then I'll make the changes that you guys did. Okay, Orch Plus. Drum variation. Genie or basic. Low or on. It was already on, but I forgot to. Auto bass. Drum variation. Alter style. I'm going to add one to the list. Orchestra Plus. Ending.
I have a question.
I don't know, but I thought that sounded pretty good personally, but that's just me. Who has a question?
I have a question.
It's
Who's
Inez.
that?
Ines.
There you are. I was trying to find
Okay.
you on the screen.
Okay, can the easy button be part of that list?
Well, when you put on a rhythm style,
Yeah,
the easy button features turn on automatically.
okay.
So you don't have to worry about it. You want it on. All the easy button does is it allows you to play easy play chords, whether you're playing one finger or three.
Uh-huh.
It turns on, it activates the MCS, the memory button for you. So when you put on a rhythm, now here's a side note, by the way. When you activate a rhythm style on your model,
Mm-hmm.
the easy button is not always turned on.
No.
And pay very close attention to this because a lot of people, this is a very popular phone call. The easy button, let me see if I can zoom in here. I'm going to turn off the rhythm. All right.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Am I running out of cord? Okay, this is as close as I can get.
Okay.
All right. So right here on this model, easy button is here. It's in different places, but functionally they work
Yeah.
the same on every model that has it. Okay.
Yep.
When I push easy, it turns on auto bass,
Mhm.
MCS, and memory. Okay.
Right. Yep.
Every model, the beginner's model, the easy one, the Discovery 3, every model turns on those three features.
Mm-hmm.
One is so you don't have to play pedals. MCS is so you don't have to play a 3-note chord. Now, if you play a 3-note chord, it doesn't matter. It'll know. And then memory just holds the chord. Now, some of you may say, well, I don't have a memory button on mine, or I don't have an MCS button. Even though you don't have that button physically on the panel, it exists when you turn on the easy. It turns it on internally. All right. Now, if I play a C chord, you see it's a 1-finger chord. If I play a 3-note C chord, same thing. All right. Now watch what happens when I turn it off. Okay, so it turned off. All right. So a lot of people understand that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the rhythm style on
Mm-hmm.
that I've been using,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to notice the
Same
easy
button.
button did not turn on.
Right.
So if you're really catching on what I'm saying, don't pick up the phone and call the store. Say something's wrong with my organ. The easy button is not on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, these act like an easy button. So, but what it did is it turned on the same things that the easy
Okay.
button turns on. So
Okay.
when you put a rhythm on, you don't have to worry about that. Now, some people will do this. They go, well, I don't know. And then I push it and then it goes on and then I turn it and then it turns. Well, yeah, because now I'm activating it on or off. Okay. So
Mhm.
when you are doing this and the minute you pick a rhythm style, it automatically activates
On.
all of those features.
Okay.
All right.
Got it. Mm-hmm.
Judith, what do I see there? Winnie, Judith, raise hand there. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay, I have a Journey.
Uh-huh.
And I looked and looked. Where's the button to turn basic on or off?
Sean, is there an Orchestra Plus button on the on that model? Isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Is there an Orchestra Plus button? Are you near your instrument?
No,
Oh.
but I know where the Orchestra Plus.
Okay, so there is a button on the fanfare and the Journey. There's a button that says Orchestra Plus.
Uh-huh.
All right, so here's what you need to know. I'm glad you asked this. So if there's any fanfare Journey owners out there, when you press the Orchestra Plus button off, it goes into a so when the Orchestra Plus button is on a Journey or fanfare,
Mhm.
these are both on together.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so when you turn off the Orchestra Plus, it's now in Genie or basic mode.
Okay.
I would say basic because the E series calls it basic.
Yeah.
Good question. Winnie?
Okay.
There is no bad question, actually. I shouldn't have said good question, but they're all, I'm going to say that about every question. Go ahead, Winnie.
Okay, to turn my lower off, I can either push tabs or push a button.
Yes, okay. So some models have a couple options, all right? So here, on a lot of the models that have the tabs, there's a button that just says lower.
Oh,
When I touch that, it turns off the chord sound. Now, and I'll say this repeatedly, a lot of people that are a little newer to the hobby think, well, if I don't turn the lower sound on, I don't have to play the left hand. No, that's not what that means. It just means you're turning off the sound. You still have to play the chords, whether you're one finger or three finger. Now, if I come over here, this model here doesn't have a tab, but there's some sounds here in the middle that say strings, 8-foot, 4-foot. I would have to turn those off. Or every organ has a lower volume. So in here, it's right there. It says lower. It's typically on the left-hand side. Every model, small, big, medium, large, in between, and 30 years old or 2 years old, has a lower volume. Some are built in to the accompaniment style, so keep that in mind as well. Okay?
thank you.
Good questions. Any others? I'm going to do one more example, and I'm going to use this exact same arrangement. So this better work, guys. Otherwise, it's on you. And Sean knows who gave me this arrangement. Just kidding. All right. So what I'm going to do is pick a style. I'll put on a Latin style here. And let me find, oh, let's see what happens when I do this. Here's mambo. Now here's the style as it is, like I showed you on the dry erase board, but I'm going to turn off the lower, okay? And then as I'm going, okay, see if I can angle that. I should have taken the time to write neater. I'm going to call out these things as I'm playing the song when I'm doing it, okay? So here we go. I can't see the screen, but I'll play the song and let's see what happens. Now, most people think when they hear that, I should play the song Tequila. I always get the urge to play a song like this. Okay, Orchestra Plus. Listen closely. Drum variation. Ooh, drastic change. Alter style. Genie or basic. Now you're going to have just the drum and the bass. That's cool. Now I'm going to add the lower because it was on earlier, off earlier. Auto bass. Drum variation. It was on, so I'm going to turn it off. Ooh. Alter style. Ending. Now, one other little tip I will make. Yeah, that wasn't that bad. The only other tip I'll make at the end of a song, if you happen to have Genie or Orchestra Plus off, I prefer to have one of those on for an ending so you have the rest of the band playing, not just the drum and the bass. Now pull up that music there of Mary Ann. All right. Here's a little side tip for you, because a lot of people we have a lot of easy play songs. Some instructors teach us. I'm going to teach you what's called what I call a Mary chord option. Here's a simple C and G. If you ever have a song, especially that has a 3-chord song or 2-chord song like this, one fun thing you can do is you can add a chord into it to just give it a little bit of a different flavor. Okay, and when I say Mary chords, especially in the key of C, it works. It's easy to explain. Here's a song that says C, G, C, G. A lot of times what I'll do is when I get to the G chord, you replace it with a D minor. But here's the important part. You always bring back the G. Now, do you have the ability to edit that screen there or no?
Yeah, I can try to do that. I was thinking about it, but I'm not.
I can
good
do it
at
very quickly on mine, but
I don't know if I can write.
here, let's do this. Go ahead and let me screen share real quick, or take it off and let me.
D,
I
M.
have. Oh, there we go. Ooh, look at
Does that
Sean
work?
go.
Look at
It's
this.
big, but you could. Can you move it? Look
Yeah.
outside. There you go. Actually, put it right over the G. So
G.
it's no. Take off. The G.
Well, yeah. Oh, I see.
Take
what
it
you-
off.
Yeah, all
I'm
right.
instructor. Do what I say. There you
that.
go. Take off the period too. That way people don't think it's a D minor period chord.
End of sentence.
Okay. So watch this. I'm going to play that same thing that I just had. Bring back the mambo. I'll kind of finish it the way I had it. Let's see. Yeah, something like this. So. Where did the G chord go? You got to bring it back. You got to copy and paste that.
Oh, do I have to do it?
Yeah, you have to.
Oh, I thought you were asking them. Okay, I can
No,
do
I'm
that.
telling
No
you to do it.
No problem.
Do it,
was over
Sean.
here
Do what you're
somewhere.
told.
Is that right?
G or G7, yeah. So there you go. There's an example. So but here's the trick. It works best that when you replace the G with a D minor or D minor 7th, okay? I tend to do both. Sometimes I do a D minor, sometimes I do a D minor 7th. Okay, they're optional. You got to always bring back that G chord. Sometimes it's a measure later, sometimes it's 2 measures later. It may not be perfect, but what's important is that you bring it back. If you don't bring it back, it may sound a little funny.
251.
What's that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. So you see that?
251.
So there's that. So here's that song with the chord changes. Here we go. G chord, D minor. You can bring it back forth. Now watch this. If you really want to get fancy, it's up to you. But remember, you have to always bring back the chord. Here we go. There we go. D minor, G7, D minor, G7. That might be a little harder for the newer hobby players, but that's just an option. It's just the secret to this is when you replace the G with a D minor, bring back a G. And I don't want to get too fancy with chords. Sometimes we could get, you can get really intricate with, there's a diminished chords and all this other stuff. When I play Just a Closer Walk with E, bring that song up. If you want to put it up, you can. Otherwise, I'll just call it out. Bring up the Just a Closer Walk with E.
I will. It'll take a second. I think I closed out. Of it.
Anytime now, Sean.
Yes, sir.
Come on, Sean. We got people waiting here.
Here. Okay, I got it.
Okay, so whether he puts the chord or not, just see if it could follow. And I'm going to do What did I use earlier? Smooth Foxtrot. Okay, let me bring that smooth Foxtrot. All right, 120-ish. Okay. All right, so here we go. D minor, G7, D minor, G. The G comes back every time. So where the first G chord is, I put a D minor. The next measure, I brought in the G back. Then I put another D minor, but you have to always bring back the G for it to work. Now, I haven't tried every single song like this, but every time I do that, I always bring back that G or G7. So when you get the music for this, what I'm going to do is give you two versions. One, it'll be just a plain copy, and then the second version will have the optional chords. It's just for fun. And they work best with songs that are typically very three-chordy type songs, I call them. Spanish Eyes, for example, if you have the Black Songbook, Blue Spanish Eyes, da 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 da, and then it hits a G chord. Throw in a D minor instead and bring back a G. This is just a little side bonus, a little tip for you. Every artist does it, every performer does it, and sometimes it's just as simple as that. So even if you're a one-finger chord player, okay, an easy play, you're going to eventually learn a minor chord. And if you don't know how to do a minor chord because you're newer, contact your store and ask your PAs. But the method is you take the note of the chord and 3 notes up. So a D minor would be D and an F. All right, since I'm referencing that chord today. All right, last thing I want to talk about, and we're a little short on time, but I think it's important to take a few minutes, Sean, and then I'll finish off with a little number, and then I'll do this same arrangement with a totally different song. I don't know. Actually, believe it or not, I kind of did some of this in the first song, but I went over that. So, so Sean, we have been telling everybody that when we record these classes, when do I typically upload them? I go home at night and I do what?
Work.
Well, yeah.
You upload
I
the video.
upload it. Yeah, I upload the videos. And most of the time I get it done by 6, 7 o'clock. So it's kind of late your time. But anyway, we always say, go to YouTube, go to our YouTube channel because we have all of the classes there that we teach, and we put them up there. So having said that, there's some people that I've noticed over the course of the last 2 weeks, I still have a lot of people that don't quite know how to do that. So Sean's going to show off a couple things, and since this is going to be recorded, if you could find this video, then it'll be a good way to kind of relearn, but you got to get to that point. So Sean, do you have the...
Yeah, I got a couple of things I can show here.
Okay,
So
first thing is you got to go to the website, right?
Yes, yes. So what I've gotten the most feedback from is it won't let me subscribe, and that's why this is important. Hopefully you can see this. It says when you go to YouTube.com, you need to sign in. So that's if you have a Gmail. If you have any kind of Gmail account, that's what that is. It's the same information. And if you don't have a Gmail, I think if you touch that sign in button, it also gives you an option to create an account. It's free. All you need is a name and a password. I just use the same password for every account I have, which is probably very bad. So you can do that.
In case y'all want to know, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Sean is great.
It's Robert is great. Okay. Then this is the second part you kind of want to do. It says to search here. So you want to search for, what do you think? Fletcher Music Centers. And hopefully at this point you should know how to spell it. So type in Fletcher Music Centers there and it'll pop up with us. And there should be, let's see, I don't know what this picture is, but it should be something that looks like that. It should be something that looks like that. Just says subscribe. I think I don't have it up here, but there's, if you search us, you should see something that says, it's like a big red thing. It just says subscribe. So all you should have to do is click on that, and then it asks you if you want to get notifications? Like, do you want to, know about every video we upload? And that's kind of helpful sometimes because there might be something you didn't realize we did, or something, a small private show that Robert put up, just for everybody to see afterwards. So there's a lot of cool stuff on there. I think we're up to like over 100 videos, I think.
Yeah, now let me do another way too. If you want to, we tell people to do this a lot. I want to make sure you could see this okay. Wrong one. Let's see, screen share. Is it this one? Did I do it right? So if you're online, okay, can you see that there? Is it showing the whole website?
Nope. It's
No?
showing google.com, unless that's what you wanted.
Yeah, I mean, do you see the whole page there though? It says
Yeah.
Google. Okay, so you can type in youtube.com/Fletcher Music Centers. Actually, if you get the emails from us and you click the link, it'll bring you right there. Okay. So we're waiting. Did the YouTube channel starting to populate?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is what's, oh, it's playing music already. Anyway, so when you go to the channel, it's going to look something like, let me go back.
Just do a regular channel or something, because it won't say subscribe on ours because we're already
Well,
subscribed.
I already
to ourselves.
subscribed, but you'll see if you go to here, you're going to have an option here that says notifications. It'll actually have a bell somewhere on here or subscribe. Now, I've had a lot of people say they've had trouble with that, subscribing. You might want to check your settings, or if you're using apps or things like that, because depending on how you have it set up, will allow you to get notifications or not. But if you're on this page right here that looks like this playlist, you're going to see it says all the videos for different classes. So like this one here, Virtual Variety Music Class Experience, that's the one that we do every Wednesday and Thursday. Here's the mistake that some people make. They click here and it starts to play all the videos. There's an option that says View Full Playlist. Okay? You want to click that, because then when you do, it'll open up all the videos that have been put into that folder. So if you're looking, it'll say Session 2, Session 1. Okay? Session 5. We're up to 16, so you'll know. All right? Now, if I want to go to another YouTube channel, do you have any that might be worth looking at?
I don't know.
Okay, well, let's just go to the home page and I'll show you. Let's find out, what's this? Okay, whoever this is, Queen. I want to stop this video. So if we go to here, it'll say on this thing, it'll say subscribe. Now, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to subscribe to that person's channel. But when you do, it'll give you that option. Okay? We just wanted to give you a couple ways to find that and how to subscribe. And then you'll have a bell option that will give you an option to get notifications. You may have to set up a Google account. Is that correct, Sean?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's free. You just type in your information and you get set up an account. So there are ways to do it. If you don't want to do that and you want to just go up, you can do that as well. You can subscribe to the channel. You can get notifications, et cetera, et cetera. But we just wanted to give you a little couple tidbits on there, how to set it up and how to navigate and so forth. Okay? So with that said, I'm going to finish off today. We have a couple announcements as I'm wheeling back here. This Friday, we have a special event. Next Friday, we have a special event. I have a last-minute, very special event that I'm doing tomorrow. If you got the email on that, we hope to see you there. I've got something really cool planned. But on Friday, the 7th, August 7th, we are going to have a 7-artist concert birthday celebration. We're going to have one performer from each of our locations performing, and that's on the 7th. And they're going to play on, everyone's going to have their own different instrument. So we don't know what that organ is going to be yet, but we'll have each store represented by one artist, and the entire event's going to be hosted by the owner of Fletcher Music Center's John Riley. And so he's going to open up with some introductions. Well, he'll, in between the songs, he's going to basically do all of that stuff. I already told him that Sean and I, or Brian, or some of us have been doing this a lot, we'll handle the technical part, because we don't want him fooling around with buttons and screening and stuff like that. He might end up cutting us all out, or who knows what. But he'll be on, and he wants to give some important messages and some thank yous and be a part of that. We are celebrating 115 years in business. We thought right around the summers, when we do some birthday celebrations, we thought it'd be fun with some music celebrating our 115 years of business. And John will be on, and that'll be kind of fun. This Friday, we have a Zoom musical that I'm excited about, because in all the years that I've been with Fletcher Music Centers, I've never heard Randy Nemi play, and I never heard Dawn play and sing until a couple of weekends ago, where she did a test performance for her students at the Villages, and I was blown away by that and said, well, you got to take that on the road. And here's the thing. Not all of the songs is very important. You're going to want to make this event. Dawn picks some great song selections. Not all of the songs she sings and performs will allow us to upload onto YouTube because of certain copyrights. We can upload it, but those songs will be blocked out. And she's going to sing a few of those songs. So you're going to want to make it to that. That's this Friday. You're going to get a reminder again beforehand, and of course 3 hours before. And the last thing I want to just keep you an update is we're getting close to the website. We have one thing that we're stuck on, and that's how to set it up so when you go to it, you can click on it easily and join the classes. So stay tuned in for that. So with that said, I'm going to, let's see, I did some swing. I did some Latin. I did razzmatazz. How about we do, you know what? Let me do a country. And I'm going to do country using the setup that you guys gave me, the arrangement. And I'm going to go to Rinky Tink. A lot of you actually have this style. It may not say Rinky Tink when you put it on, but this is the style. So here we go. Turn off the lower. And I'm going to call out the stuff. So if I lean back, it's because I'm looking at the dry erase board. My headset is coming apart here. All right. And here we go. Here's the arrangement that you gave me as I play the song. Here we go. Initial setup. Okay, Orch Plus, off. Ultra style. Genie, and off. Ooh, cool. Lower on. Auto bass. Let's see what happens. Ooh. Drum variation. Alter style. Orch Plus. And a yeehaw. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please hold the applause, hold the applause, hold the applause. Don't stop it, stop it, stop it. Well, thank you very much. We hope you enjoyed today's class. And I hope you had a lot of fun. I see there was a lot of chats there. I'll go back and watch them, read them later on. And we hope to see you real soon. And thank you so much. I'll stay on for a minute. You guys can wave. Oh, wow. That's a lot of waving. I can actually feel the breeze. If I get all of you doing it, it'll cool me off a little bit here.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, guys. Hope you enjoyed.
Thank you.
Oh, I have to say my last words. Keep playing music. Stay safe and love ya.
Look.